If you just decided, I don't want to watch this is too much, DJ Mosh.
Actually, I didn't watch it. I never watched. To me, frankly speaking, I think that's not the best use of my time. But with that said, with all the things that are coming out about, cultism and especially religion in Africa, at one point, I was very, very deep in the church, and I saw things happening in the church from the backside, meaning the things that happen in the back before, say, the pastor comes out
in the server room.
Yes,
yeah,
the things that are happening huko nyuma, tuseme green room, zile vitu zinafanyika huko nyuma. So kuna I guess you call them evangelism type of ministries, right? Whether it's they're talking prosperity, blah blah blah, or whatever. But you're always sowing. You come in, you sow a seed, and what you pray for something, and wale wanakuja na pesa. Like here in America, you would have kuna line ya 1,000, kuna line ya sotano, alafu kuna line ya so moja. And
what do you mean by line?
Meaning you're coming to sow your seed to be prayed
so
for.
You're in a queue.
Yes, you stand in a line. So munakuja wale watu wakona, you were called up, wale watu wakona 1,000, unakuja na 1,000. Now imagine you've gone to church, na umetoa 1,000. Now we all know how long it takes for you to make $1,000. You're coming up and you're removing $1,000 as your offering, but also you're sowing a seed into whatever it is that you want to be prayed for. It could be a new job, it could be for you to get a new car, house, blah blah, whatever it is. But you're coming with your CD at 1,000. Sasa, the interesting part to some of these things, and me, I can only speak to what I saw when I was in the church, was ule mtu anakuja kuongea. Let's say whoever it is the prophet or the evangelist or whatever it is, anakuja na entourage yake. Na hii entourage, kuna wase wameka kama plants. Kila mtu akona hiyo thao.
In the congregation.
Walikuja na mse, lakini they're planted. Okay. So sazile anaita, anasema.
So you've seen this happen?
Ooh.
I'm telling you.
I'm asking because I haven't.
Yes.
Okay. This is interesting because it's a tactic that's used in auctions. And I'll talk about it. But
so,
I didn't know it was in church, but it's very interesting hearing.
Yeah. So what happens? Kuna wase wanapewa.
It was highlighted in TB Joshua also.
In fact, our say wanapewa pesa. Depending upon, let's say amekuja na wase waine. So tuseme kwa wase waine, kuna wawili wataenda kwa ile line ya wathao. Alafu wase wengine wanaweza pewa sotano. Nyimwende kwa ile line ya sotano.
Yeah.
Na wase ndio walikam naye. Lakini unajua saa zile mse anaingia, watu wa kanisa hawajui wase waliingia naye. They even came in the same freaking car. But you see, you don't know because simuku kanisani mnangoja mse aingie. Na yeye anaingia na kule nyuma. Na wase wako naingia na mbele. So wewe ujui pale wase wametoka. Na saa zile hizi dozi wanagawanywa do, mimi naona. Wewe chukua hii. Na kila mtu anajua mission yake. Si ndio? So wanaenda kawa naingia. So mse anakuja anatoka nje anapiga introduction nini alafu anasema okay, sasa wale watu wanataka if you want to be prayed for blah blah blah, watu wa 1,000 simameni, kujeni msimame hapa, let me pray for you.
Okay.
So wase waka wanakuja because normally getting people to start hiyo kukuja na hiyo 1,000 ndio ni problem. So these are the ones who are jump starters.
Yeah.
Unaona? Yeah. So wanakuja kama wamepiga manduru manini, then everybody, that crowd mentality, people roll in.
Yeah, there's a science behind that.
You could get like 10 to 15 people who will come in with 1,000 each. Now minus his 1,000 or his 2,000, that's 13K Apple.
Okay.
Now this is one of the ways that you're actually going to raise funds in a church, by the way. That week of waganetwa, what do they call those weeks? Like either ya prophecy ama waga ya crusade or something like that. So it'll be like a week long thing. So Monday kuna mtu anakuja, Tuesday kuna mtu anakuja, Wednesday kuna mse anakuja, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, then now Sunday is now the kumalizia. and in that time frame between Monday and Sunday, munaweza raise 80k, 100k.
Wow.
So it's worth it. But so unajua hawa se wanakuja ku preach, they're different people. They're also paid for speaking appearance, right? So if you go by what's happening over here, umse amakuja na wase wake wanapewa do nini. So in this mchezo wa paka na panya, they can in that day at least 20k could be raised just in that day. So then now what ends up happening is these tunes are divided between the church na umse.
Wow.
So
very interesting.
But I mean, I saw things like that happen on the backside. So mimi niliona, so I've seen those things. Hizo vituko za kanisa nini. So like Mika was saying about the prosperity things and stuff, sometimes you have to ask yourself whether, okay, are these guys legit? Is it mchezo? Kuna ile unajua wase wanashikwa, wanaanguka, those are their plans. There are people who actually have been filled, quote unquote, with the Spirit. There are others who have not.
Like in Kanyari's church.
Yeah, there are people who've been filled with the Spirit. You touch them, they fall. And there are others who have not. There are those who actually get quote unquote healed. There are those who are not, who are planted. So it's in a tegemea, and depending on, in my experience, because of my experience, I'm very wary of ministries in general. Because me, I have seen it. I've been there. I have done it. I have seen those things. Mpaka saa zingine unajiuliza, okay, surely how? And by the way, this guy who I saw doing this was a preacher from Nigeria. By the way.
Okay. Yeah, but not TB Joshua, another preacher.
No. It was a guy from Nigeria.
So it seems there's something to do with Nigeria.
But I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just saying, in my case, this is what I saw. Live in action. And this was one of. So he was not the only Nigerian preacher who used to come to this church. And the church was an American church. So... a leading American church. In fact, let me just put it this way. One of the guys who ended up purchasing that church, huge church in Bimo. What's the biggest church in Bimo that you know of, a black guy and the
Jamal Bryant.
Bas.
Wow.
So,
okay. And Jamal Bryant is very popular.
So on the backside, before Jamal got to where he was, unakumbuka pale tulienda tulifanya, it was next door to where we did, one of our boys was having a pre-wedding. It was next to Jamal's church.
Oh, that one I definitely didn't attend.
Pale Kiria, West Side.
Primrose.
Yes.
See, Jamal si alikuwa Primrose.
I think actually I might have attended that pre-wedding.
So anyway, so all I'm trying to say is that church was a huge church before and had even like 4 or 5 branches. And the pastor even drove a Rolls. And the Rolls was presented to him by the church. The congregation bought him a Rolls Royce.
Okay.
So I'm just saying that in some cases, there's things that happen on the backside, and then there's also divisions that occur because sometimes the couple split. And when there's a split between the husband and wife, first lady na the pastor, kanisa pia na split.
You know where I learned that?
Even in Bolti.
You know where I learned that? From a series on Netflix called Greenleaf.
Yeah, Greenleaf.
One of the best series
I
I have ever watched.
It is a good one.
Yeah, very good series.
All those things you're seeing?
It's real.
So it's not just,
no.
They're not fiction. They actually happen.
They're based on things that can happen.
They're based on things
that
it's not
have
a true
happened.
story.
Have happened.
Yeah.
Not can. Have happened. Continue to happen, and will continue to happen.
Hey,
because
of that how? Man.
But that was, whose house that is?
I don't know whose house it is, but it has rooms that have rooms.
Tyler Perry.
God damn. Yeah.
But anyway, so there are some things that happen in the church, and if you're not in the church, you don't get to see them. You never ever get to see them. And these are things that have happened time and time again.
Okay.
With all these big guys, Reinhard Bonke, I don't know who. Ukienda ufanye uchunguzi uone how some of these things are conducted on the backside. Hata kina Prophet Uwar. Unashika dabu.
See, there's a guy, I know you're pressed for time, but see, there's a guy who at one point in time, is it Popov? There's a guy who was, at one point, he was Popov or Popich or whatever. The guy was busted because what was happening was, it was like he was being led by the Spirit to call out names, and these people he would call out, and they say, okay, so I think I know there's somebody called whatever, whose husband or wife, whatever, 6 is that the other, whatever. And you know what? God says that you're going to be healed. Kumbe, Jama is being fed information through his career, an earpiece.
Yeah, earpiece, yes.
And we're talking about the 80s. This guy, once he was busted, he went chini ya maji. Right now, the guy is back, televangelist, selling water.
Yeah.